Hi everyone, welcome to the Doorbell channel. We are joining you today from the Prettiest Pieces as per usual. This little mini yellow couch is pretty much my favorite place to sit in the whole world. So if you have any vintage rental needs in the area of Greensboro or North Carolina, check them out for sure at theprettiestpieces.com. Today's video is so exciting, and it's just going to be these actionable steps that you can put into place. We are going to talk about 25, I can't even do that on my hands, there's too many, 25 ways to grow your Instagram following. I've been so fortunate that Instagram has really been a great source of revenue and marketing for my business and for my brand, so I just want to share all of that knowledge with you. These are all really easy, actionable steps that you can put into place today. There's 25 of them. I tried to organize them kind of in sections chronologically that make sense as to different types of strategy, but they're all things that you can do very simply. You can take one or all of them into account. So let's go ahead and get started. Yay! All right, so number one, if you are just starting out, you are just creating your Instagram account, you kind of don't know what to do, just follow people who you want to follow you. So the way that the algorithms work is they kind of group everyone together who's following each other, following the same people. So if you follow some influencers in whatever niche that you want to be in, then Instagram's going to go ahead and categorize you in the right place. And those people's followers are gonna see your posts on the Explore page. So for instance, if National Geographic liked one of your photos, then all of their followers might potentially see your photo in the Explore page. So you're gonna wanna focus on smaller influencers at first if you're just starting out, and then kind of work your way up to larger influencers. But just follow people who you want to be following you. So I just follow a ton of people in the wedding industry, and if there's ever a planner I wanna work with, or someone that I want to pay attention to my work, I just start following them on Instagram and communicating with them there. So this leads us to number two, which is comment and interact with anyone that you follow or anyone that you want to be following. There's really no reason not to follow someone if you want them to know you and pay attention to you. So go ahead and give them a follow, start commenting on their posts, start interacting with them. Other people that you already follow, keep interacting with them, and the more activity that you have, the more genuine your presence is gonna seem, and the more the algorithm's gonna notice you and categorize you into the right place. Number three, also if you're just starting out, pay attention to your feed aesthetic. Mine has changed a lot since I first started, and I don't really believe in going back and deleting your progress just because it doesn't look as beautiful. But there's a lot of different things I've tried. So sometimes I'll try to post a light photo and then a dark photo and alternate so that the feed looks pretty. Sometimes I'll try to do all pink colored photos and then slowly move into all green colored photos and that kind of thing. But a lot of people that have great success are just having a similar feed aesthetic. So if you're only posting far away pictures and then all of a sudden you post a really close-up photo, it might look a little bit jarring. So then when someone comes to see if they want to follow you, they might be confused by that. Or if you have tons of different color schemes, tons of different styles of editing, tons of different styles of photos, people might have trouble seeing what your main focus is. So check out some beautiful feeds. A great example of this is the Blushing Script. She pretty much only posts things that have a little bit of blush, gray, black and white in them, and her feed is just really beautiful and cohesive. Okay, number four, we're getting into specifics about posting. So post once a day or more. This has been proven by hundreds of thousands of accounts to be the most effective way to grow your following. So do whatever you have to do this. Set your alarm. I always do it right before bed every night, so it's just kind of a habit that I've gotten into. But if you're only posting 2 or 3 times a week, people are just not going to see your photos as much. You're not going to get noticed by the algorithms, and your following is not going to grow as quickly. Number 5 is posting at the right times of day. I started posting right before I went to bed because I was noticing through my insights and just through common sense that those were the ones that were getting the most interaction. This could be different depending on who your followers are, where you are in the world, what time zone you're in. There's all kinds of things. But pay attention to your insights, pay attention to when you're getting the most likes, and try to post during those times of day, as well as on the right days of the week. You may have more response if you post during the week or on weekends. I typically don't get as much response on weekends, so sometimes I don't actually post on the weekends, but I do try to post every single day during the week, at least once, often twice. Number 6 is just be consistent. This goes a little bit back to your feed aesthetic, but people want to know what they can expect from you, and also just persevering and putting in the work every day is what's gonna grow your following over time. I was very fortunate that at the beginning, one of my posts went a little bit viral. But what's even better for me in the long run is that I post every single day at the same times, post similar types of images, use similar hashtags, use similar captions, very similar wording. And what happens when I do that is that every once in a while, one of those picks up and I go a little bit viral for a little period of time. And those things are gonna add up more over time than going viral big one time. And you're not gonna be able to do those things if you don't just put in the work and be consistent with it. Number 7, of course, it's Instagram. It's a photo-driven platform. It's gonna matter that you take good photos. There's a lot of ways you can do this. We have a video on Instagram TV about styling your stationery photos if that's what you're taking photos of. There's a lot of different ways you can do this. At home, you don't have to have super fancy equipment, but just make sure your photos are taken in good light, they look similar, and you're editing them with a good editing software. So you can use Photoshop. There's a lot of apps that you can use. I pretty much edit all my photos directly in Instagram, but I know people that love a color story. There's a lot of other apps that you can use to edit your photos. So what you're gonna wanna do is pay attention to what's working for other people in your industry, pay attention to what's working for people on Instagram. In general, for instance, with stationery, flat lays are pretty much the way to go. Angled photos don't typically get as much traction as flat lays, and that doesn't really apply with like couple photos at a wedding. You wanna have something that's more lively and more dimensional. So pay attention to what's working, take good photos, do the best that you can. If you are in a place that doesn't have great lighting, collect a bunch of work that you want to take photos of and take it all in one day when you can go somewhere that does have good lighting. For instance, I come here to the Prettiest Pieces to film these videos because they have way better lighting than my studio, and a lot of times I take pictures here as well. Number 8 is putting your face out there. This could require paying for a professional photo shoot, which I've done. This could require a trade for a professional photo shoot. You could also just be good with a camera and tripod, or have a really great Instagram husband or girlfriend that will take some really good photos for you. What people respond to is things that have your face. They wanna know what you look like, they wanna know what you sound like, they wanna know who you are as a person. I've heard that you get more likes on average if there's even a hand in a photo. Number 9, tag people when relevant. I hate when people don't tag, because what's the problem with tagging? There's never a negative to tagging. If you tag a planner, if you tag Zara, which is where I got this shirt, then they're more likely to see you. Their followers are more likely to see your feed because you're tagging stuff that's relevant to them. It just connects you with those categories and with those other feeds more often. So I never ever see a negative to tagging. I tag all my vendors whenever I can, and in return a lot of times they tag me, which will get you more audience as well. Number 10, in addition to tagging other people, use your hashtags. I have a whole video right here dedicated to using your hashtags, so I'm not going to go into it too in depth, but whatever you do, use your hashtag every opportunity you get. That's all I'm going to say. Do it. Check out this video if you don't do it regularly and you need some tips for it. And number 11, vary your hashtags. Do not use the same ones all the time. I talk about this in the video, but you can use a few that are similar all the time. They're very, very relevant, but change the rest of them up so that you're varying your audience, and that's how you get new followers from hashtags. If you're using the same hashtags all the time, you're just attracting the same audience. Number 12, in addition to all of those tags, make sure you Geo-Tag. You can put this for stationery. I tag where the wedding is. I tag the address. If I have a fake address in an envelope that's in Austin, Texas, I'll tag Austin, Texas. I'll tag wherever I am at the moment. I'll tag, my town that I live in. There's all different ways you can geotag something. Make sure it's mildly relevant, because if people are looking for photos at a certain location, they're gonna want them to at least be mildly relevant to that. But geotagging is a great way, especially in the wedding industry. If you tag yourself at a wedding venue, a lot of people look at those to see other weddings that have taken place there. Number 13 is, after you post, respond to comments. The data says that you're supposed to respond to the comments for the best algorithm results within an hour of the comment. This is not always possible. However, I always say that I post 10 or 11 o'clock right before I go to bed, so I make sure to then, I'll go through emails, like stuff on social media, hang out, whatever. Make sure to go back to Instagram and respond to any comments that are right there. I don't respond to the comments that are at midnight or 2 a.m. But if I respond to the first couple, that goes ahead and puts me in a positive algorithm space so that then we get more and more comments later, and I do respond to those after. And ignoring the algorithm entirely, responding to comments is just gonna be a nice way for you to reward your followers for interacting with you. It's gonna make you look more friendly. People are gonna wanna follow you because you respond to comments, answer questions, thank people for interacting with your brand, and it just makes you look like a more friendly, real person in this world of social media. And number 14 is on that same note, just be genuine when you're talking to people, responding to people. They want to see that you're a real person. They want to learn about you. They want to hear about your struggles. They want to hear about your successes. So if you look like a robot and you just post a pretty image with like summer vibes every single day, you're not going to grow as quickly and you're not going to interact with the audience that you do have. And number 15, a great way to interact with your audience and to seem really genuine is to use stories. Obviously, I use stories a ton. Half of you probably found this video by swiping up on a story that I posted. It's a great way to show behind the scenes. It's a great way to show who you are and to do it in a way that's not perfectly edited. If you get to 10,000 followers, you can do the swipe up feature, which is really nice. You have insights on all your stories. Now they have questions and polls. So there's really no reason not to be using stories. I've heard that more people are watching stories, or they're spending more time watching stories than actually looking at feed posts these days. So stories are kind of taking over, and it's a great way to have your name, especially if someone watches your stories often. Your name is going to be right there at the top of their feed every single day. And number 16, you want to give action items on your posts and on your stories. I talked about polls, question answering, swipe ups, those kind of things. Even if you don't have that, when you're on your feed, you want to ask questions, you want to tell them to click links in your profile, you want to explain what to do. So just saying, hey, I made this cool blog post today, isn't the same as saying, hey, I made this cool blog post, here's how you can use it, now go click the link in my profile to do it. So action items are going to make people take those actions, even if they aren't doing anything legendary that they wouldn't have done before. Just having you encourage them to take that action item is going to get more interaction with your post. So now we've covered how you want to set your account up and how you want to make your posts. We're going to cover some like out of the box ideas about how to actually get more people interacting other than all these. But while we're doing all these things we're about to talk about, keep in mind everything we've already talked about how you want these posts to look and how you want these stories to look. So number 17 is that you could run a contest. This is something that we do often, usually in relation to some kind of big event. You're celebrating something. Keep in mind you don't necessarily want to give away something that's going to prevent people from purchasing it because they're waiting to see if they win the giveaway. So you can always say, like, go ahead and purchase it, and if you win the giveaway, like, we'll refund you that money or that kind of thing. You also want to make sure your giveaways are attracting new clients if that's your goal. So if your goal is to attract new brides or new baby mamas or new guys that like to play basketball, whatever it is, say, hey, tag your friend that likes to play basketball, and that's your entry. So make sure if you're giving something away, you have a value. We talk a lot about if you're doing something free, then there should be a value exchange for you. So instead of just trying to say, like this photo and you qualify for this giveaway, make sure that they're bringing someone else into the conversation, bringing a new potential follower, a new potential client. And you can narrow it down a little bit more than just tag anyone you want. Don't make it so they have to fill out a whole application or something to win the giveaway, because then no one's going to do it. But you can always run a contest. And we're going to call this 16.5. But you could also run a challenge. This is something that's really cool. We did the No More Boring Envelopes challenge, and that just gets more people involved in your hashtag, in your account, and then they might be, they might say, hey, this is No More Boring Envelopes by Design by Lainey, and then new eyes from their followers will be on my account, and the hashtag, every time someone looks at that, will kind of lead back to me and what I've done, and it also creates a really cool sense of community when you do something like that. So I love No More Boring Envelopes. You should all check that out if you want. It's great. So that's a really great way to get more eyes on what you're doing. Number 18 is to collaborate on posts. I have been doing a lot of this lately, and it's so much fun. I kind of like to take fields where it might not seem like it's directly wedding related and make it that way. So recently, by the time this is posted, I will have done a collaboration with a nutritionist and fitness instructor, and so we're coming up with a cool, really doable plan for losing weight and eating healthily before your wedding. So cool collaboration, because it does have to do with weddings. The same audiences might be interested in both of our things, but she might bring some people to my table that wouldn't have initially seen me because it's a totally different industry, and I may bring some people to her table that could be potential clients for her as a nutritionist. And also I'm going to follow this plan and hopefully look amazing and feel amazing. Collaborating is a great way to kind of spread your wings a little bit, and you can make it really whatever you want. I've collaborated with furniture companies, I've collaborated with clothing companies, I've collaborated with other wedding vendors all the time. So just, it's a way to get, you tag them all the time, but it's a great way to get them to tag. Number 19 is that you can pin your Instagram posts. I love this one. It's a really easy way to get pinned content. It's very easy to pin all your posts. You could schedule them with something like Tailwind, or you can go ahead and just copy and paste your links every time you do a post on Instagram and post it to your Pinterest board. And obviously, if you're in a visual or wedding fashion industry, Pinterest is huge. So it's just another way to get some people linked back to your account, and the post is already there, the caption's already there, the hashtags are already there. All you have to do is copy and paste. Number 20 is, I'm in a lot of networking groups on Facebook and other areas, and a lot of them have Follow Fridays. So this has been a really cool thing for me, and most of mine are creative based. And so if you see something like a Follow Friday or Tell Us About It Thursday, things like that, it's usually where you get to tell about something cool you've done or post your handle, and then in response you have to follow 2 or 3 other people from the feed. So it's a really great way that you can showcase your work to other creatives in the field, and then they'll kind of start following you too once you share your handle. Maybe share a picture of something awesome you've done that will attract them to you specifically on the feed, and you'll get a lot of new followers that way that are in the industry and usually are very supportive of each other. And then you can expand your creative followers as well. Number 21 and 22 are kind of similar. 21 is to talk about your Instagram, and number 22 is to put your handle everywhere. So this is just about living your goals, living your brand. I talk about my Instagram all the time. My friends got me 15K balloons, not 15,000 balloons, but a 15K balloons, and brought them to the bar for me at night when I got 15,000 followers. And literally everyone was asking why I had balloons, and we would tell them, and I got like 10 new followers that night at the bar just because we were talking about it and having this whole conversation. So it's maybe embarrassing to talk about Instagram in real life, but putting your handle out there, telling people about it. If growing your following is a really important goal to you, then live it, breathe it. Put your handle on your business cards, put your handle on your website, put your handle on your other social media pages. Put it everywhere. You can put it on your car for all I care, and you'll be surprised at the number of followers that come in just from that. And then you can even have that conversation with them. Like, I met a girl in the bar that night who was looking for wedding invitations, and we ended up having a consult. So you never know where these things are going to come in, but if this is your goal, then you want to live it, you want to breathe it, you want to be really proud of it, and put it out there everywhere so that everyone has a chance to follow. All right, we are almost there. Number 23, we got 3 more to go. Number 23 is to use apps to schedule your posts. I personally don't do this because I love having a personal touch on it. I love that any day my post could be about how crappy of a day I had, something I learned that day, something new, but a lot of people schedule their posts and love it. You can use apps like Later, you can use a service like Tailwind, which I use for my pens, also has Instagram scheduling as well. And if you're someone who's having a hard time with that consistency or your overall feed aesthetic, and you want to see how it's all gonna look and sound, and you want to make sure you're putting out the right information at the right times, scheduling your pens is amazing and will probably put so much time back in your day. Number 24 is honestly one of my favorite tools that Instagram offers you, and it's free and it's amazing, and it's just using your insights. If you're using Instagram for business, you should have a business account. No questions about it. Insights are invaluable. They show you what's working, they show you what's not working. You can also use insights on an individual photo if you haven't discovered that. And I would encourage you not to pay attention to what's getting you more followers and likes, but to pay attention to what's getting you conversions. Because no matter all these 24 ways that we've discussed so far of growing your following, you gotta remember that having a giant following is not the same thing as having a lot of people spending money on your company. So make sure as you're growing your following, you're just staying genuine and paying attention to things that are actually getting you real followers that are going to be potential clients, and not just followers for the sake of followers. And number 25, yay, we're almost done. Number 25 is just to pay attention to what works. You can use your insights, you can use your brain, you can use whatever you want, but pay attention where it works. Try to be honest with yourself. If you're doing something one way a ton and you feel like it's not working, change it up. Don't be afraid to move your hashtags, use different hashtags, post at different times a day, and see what works, because your insights can only tell you what you've tried before. So use the insights that you have and the data that's there, but also use your common sense and your knowledge and your creativity to try new things and pay attention to what works. Okay, so this was a ton of information. I hope you loved all 25 tips. If you want to check out the hashtags video, that's linked here. If you want to subscribe to the channel, that's here. Make sure that you let us know below if you try out any of these tips. Check us out on Instagram, subscribe to our channel. We want to hear if you have success with these, if you are already doing all these guys, or if we taught you anything new today. So keep up with the doorbell so that you can learn all this new information, and let us know what you want to hear more about. Thanks, everyone.